space. So we're really happy to be here, happy to have you. Thank you so much to guys from Lisk. Shout out to them. People from Lisk and Noreen will share a few words about Lisk and the Lisk Center in a few minutes. Yes, we definitely wanted also to well, thank all of you for joining, but also all the partners and the sponsors that helped make these events happen. It's not only tonight. Yesterday we were at the Celo office at Factory. We had a great meetup around all the applications and the startups in the field of tokenization in carbon markets. We had a lot of speakers and great discussions and great panel. So yeah, you see some of the names here. I think we just said not to have anybody from the University of Nicosia, which is also behind the EU Blockchain Observatory and Forum. But for all the others, or most of the others, you will hear from the speaker tonight. Right, so what do we have planned today? It's a meetup that will be about an hour 15. And then we have a bit of time for community, networking, drinks, and pizza, which will be around until 10:30, 11 p.m. Right? Oh, Irene is looking at me. 11 p.m. we need to be out. Okay?
Everything needs to be clean and we need to be out.
So yeah, so after a bit of intro, you'll hear from the different speakers. We'll have about 5-7 minutes each, and feel free to ask questions. We'll also have plenty of time afterwards if you want to, connect with the people and ask more details. Yeah, and maybe some of you are wondering who's at a Positive Blockchain meetup for the first time by show of hands. Great. So maybe some of you are wondering who are these guys? And maybe Annie, you can tell us first of all who you are and who are we.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Anya Ramos. I'm Argentinian, based in Paris. I've been in blockchain for almost 6 years now. Positive Blockchain for 5, along with the 5 years. I'm a computer engineer, and I have many years of experience in tech. I met Luca 5 years ago, and he was working on this, and along with Positivist, who is Positive Blockchain here. Yes. So we were like kind of 20 people at that time, and we put together Positive Blockchain. Usually we do the events and we put always first the projects and the partners. So today, as it's the 5 years anniversary, I'm going to say a little bit about how proud I am about what we have accomplished together. So this is our 5-year anniversary. This is pictures of people of Positive Blockchain in the past and now, but everyone that contributed. Something that I've been asked a lot these days is how come you're doing all this wonderful work with just volunteer base? So actually, none of us, like all of us, have other jobs, not always in blockchain, but all the work that we're doing for PV is volunteer based. The database, the events, and everything we do is volunteer, and we are a non-profit community as well. So we count on the partners' help to actually make it happen. The other thing is, like, even though today most of the people is based in Berlin, it's a decentralized one, decentralized organization. We have people in Colombia, in Argentina, and sometimes in Brazil, in the US, and so more or less that. And we're very diverse, so it's not only blockchain people. There's a lot of people that are students or researchers or are doing sustainability. It's really not many very tech people. It's like just a good balance. So Positive Blockchain mission evolved always. It's been to bring to the community and to create ecosystem, as you will see today. But we have mainly 3 axes on our mission. The first one is empowering teams that are leveraging or using blockchain for the sustainable development goals or for making a better world in general. So we're helping these projects to put them in contact with institutions that can support them, to give them visibility when we can, and to just help them doing networking, or even in other ways that we'll show later. Other thing that is also very central to what we do is the collaboration with institution partners, governmental organizations, and we help them and we guide them on how to use and how to get inspired from all these projects that we support, and even giving them access to our database that allows them to have a better idea of how the ecosystem is evolving, what are the projects that are more mature, and even just getting them in touch with people that can help them. And then the other thing that particularly I like a lot is that we do our best to democratize the information and the access of blockchain, and not so everyone, not only the people that live in the big cities or that have access to universities or to content in English, can also learn about blockchain. And even if you are a teacher in primary school and you want to learn about blockchain, we make an effort, or we put some energy on teaching them and actually giving them access to this other world, because we believe that blockchain can actually help us all. So how do we do this? One of the things that we do is events like this in real life. We have several meetups that are volunteer organized as well in different cities, and it's always local people that will organize and get together with local entities. We also go to universities and teach blockchain, and we do a lot of in real life online events as well. In the knowledge sharing part, particularly me, I've been translating information into Spanish, so we can learn to Latin America especially. We also write reports with other institutions, so we help them write reports. We do articles writing and public speaking in some events when we are invited. We do projects and partnerships. One that is particularly relevant is in Germany is that we collaborated with BMC, I don't know how, the Ministry of Economic Cooperation in Germany. And also we work with the European Observatorium Forum at the beginning when they were doing the mapping and many activities like this. We do free advisory as well for ONGs or groups or teams that want to do something with blockchain, but they still don't have the knowledge of the blockchain itself, where to get their projects implemented, what is the regulation specific to their industries. We do this for free. Sometimes there are projects that we I'm really sorry, the French is coming. That which there are some projects that I've been working with for several years now. So it's like a constant friendship that evolves. And then the last one is the project directory that is actually also at the origin of Positiveblockchain. When all started, we had an Excel file and 20 people just writing every name of cool projects that we could find. And that has evolved. Today, we developed a database that is accessible on the website. Luca is going to talk about it. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Ellie. And also, it's an invitation for anyone to join Positiveblockchain as contributor as well and volunteer. It's something you can very well decide and in your city and help organize events and work on the data and knowledge sharing as well. So, yeah, when we started with the database, as Annie said, Google spreadsheet, as everybody knows, that we tried to really map the ecosystem. Back then in 2017, I think when we had 30 or 40 projects listed, that was about all we could find, right? And right now it's thousands of projects and startups that are around the world working on logistics, climate action, financial inclusion, and many more industries and use cases. So we're continuing to developing this database. It's an open database, so open data, Creative Commons license. You feel free to go to the website, download the database. There are a lot of options for collaborations now. Send us stock data, we import it and mark it in the database. We have an API since this month. In case you're thinking that this is something cool. We mainly did it because it's cool, right? um, yeah, and so we're mapping based on 17 categories, sorry, 14 categories and 57 categories. And some of the things that we implemented, oh no, that's not this one. So yeah, it just gives you an idea. We just released this last week. There will be a lot of upgrades and improvement on the database. We kind of simplified a bit the backend, the collaborations, and the way you can simply go and explore. So you can filter projects by country, by technology platform, by SDG. We're also enabling partners to build their own sub-list of projects. So yesterday we had a meetup with ECOTA, focusing on the projects on carbon tokenization. So now if you go on the website and click that filter, you will see only the sub-list in that space. And we hope it's gonna give ideas also to other partners to implement that and work with us to share data and make it accessible for anybody. We have a lot of feedbacks from researchers, journalists, academics who are working on it, and take basically the database as a source information for doing their work. One of our very strong partners on that is a French association called Blockchain for Good. Wanted to make a shout out for them as well because they work with a lot of universities in France and students to basically collect more data, make sure the database is accurate, and produce reports. The report Blockchain for Sustainable Development, published last year, is available. It's 400 pages. You don't have to read it all, but it covers 14 categories, so you can go to the chapter that you like. It's available in French, in English, in Spanish, and if you want to translate it in your own language, please get in touch. And yeah, we hope it was informative, and you guys will go to the website positiveblockchain.io/database and just contribute and join the effort. And I think we're done. So thank you so much. And since we are invited in that beautiful space, I wanted to give a word to the host to also properly welcome you and tell you a little bit about who is Lisk. So please welcome Mary on stage.
Welcome participants, and thank you so much for your time. We are highly intended to your participation, and we love your participation and your presence over here. I would like to introduce a little bit about the Lisk. You know that we are a blockchain platform, and we are super interested in those guys who are developing on Web3 and blockchain using any technology. Over here, we have one more thing. Yeah. About our history, because if you are new participants, we built Lisk, starting building Lisk blockchain in 2016, founded as our headquarter in Zug and Switzerland, and we are basically financed by Lisk Foundation. These are just main things about our history, and our basic purpose is to provide the infrastructure support to the developers and our software development kit for all those who want to have an easy access and who don't want to understand the depths of the blockchain, but they want to install their applications on our SDK, or they have a business idea and they want to launch any decentralized applications. We welcome all those people and we create infrastructure for them. Then we have yeah, this is a little bit about us in numbers. We founded in 2016. Our assets are around $65 million. And the most interesting thing is our accelerator feature, which we have recently modified, and we are giving the grants of up to 250,000 to the projects who are interested in building on the top of Lisk using SDK Lisk infrastructure. So if you have any business idea you think which can be developed on the blockchain, feel free to get in touch with us, and we will discuss about this project a little bit afterwards. If you're interested in trading the Lisk token, these are the only few exchanges where we are trading these our token. Yeah. Binance, Kraken, Gate.io, Obi, OKX, Update, Crypto.com, and so many more. These are our partners and integrations, but these are just most notable. So you can say very, very highlighted information, but we have developed several partnerships beyond this as well. We have exchange partners, Binance, MoonPay, infrastructure partners, Acubase, Ledger, CV Labs, Wallet Connect, Unstoppable Domains, and then ecosystem partners, custody partners, audit, and media partners. So if you guys think that there is a partnership opportunity, feel free to get in touch with us. Okay, yeah. One more thing is the thing which I was talking about is accelerator program, 250,000 CHF in 4 different stages. So it really depends if you're on ideation stage, project development, business development, whatever you need. So these are the 5 different stages where you can participate and you can get up to these amounts. We have more details about this on our website, and these are our existing partners who are building on this list on top of list, but they are, they are on their final stages, most of them. This is our list community, so you can see our list community is almost expanded on the whole globe, and same goes for our company. Our company has also around 47 or something like this number of nationalities with 80 people. So we are quite diverse group of the people and very welcoming, inclusive type of people. And over there at the bottom, you can see that we have made 33,000 commits approximately. Right now, it's like a little bit up than 33, around 35,000 commits to be more accurate. And it means we are doing something. So please check out. Yeah, I'm 35,000 commits. Whoever is the developer knows it's a lot of job. These are our founders, Max, Oliver. You guys know about, if you're in the space, you must know about their history, I think. Yeah. Okay. Surprise. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for hosting. We'll have a few talks and then we'll probably make a break and come back for talks. But for now, Jason, maybe you want to share about Celo? And maybe who knows Celo well in the room? Okay, very good. So, please, thank you.
Hey, everybody. Thank you. Welcome, and thank you for making it out here for this talk today. I'm Jason. I have flown in from Dubai, where I was born and raised. And I'll give you a bit of an introduction about myself, about the Celo blockchain, because we've been doing a lot of work that's very context and theme relevant, and want to give you a lot of context about the pilots that we've conducted, etc. My speaking slot is quite short, but that being said, feel free to ask questions if you are interested in anything in particular. So Celo is a layer 1 blockchain protocol, a base layer infrastructure that's focused on giving developers that are building applications for emerging market a place and the ecosystem that they can build on and build into. We were founded originally in 2018, and I've been an early operator in the company from about 2019 or so. And we've built this protocol with the mission to create a financial system that creates the conditions of prosperity for everyone. And we feel very strongly about this mission and have been doing different activities over the last 4 to 5 years to support our communities across over 100 countries to make that happen. This is a glimpse of a pilot that we conducted back in 2019 in Africa. And a big part of our thesis is to support the blockchain using mobile phones. And part of this thesis came from doing research in emerging markets and actually understanding and spending time with the folks on ground. And a big part of it was that not a lot of people use wallets that are based on a computer necessarily or a browser. And currently there are north of 7 billion smartphone users, and less than 100 million of them actually are crypto adopters. And our hypothesis is that in making a blockchain accessible using a mobile phone, in the long run, we would see mass adoption and eventually capture some of the money supply into crypto. Okay. So Celo as a blockchain is proof of stake and carbon negative. We take on various practices in order to offset a lot of the carbon that's related through proof of work, etc., by means of adding offsets into the like through every block that's added into the blockchain. And Allison from Climate Collective will also be adding more onto that. From a developer standpoint, Celo is very similar to Ethereum, but different in many regards. It's fast, cheap, and quite easy to transact on. As a developer, if you use Ethereum tools, you will be able to use Celo tools right out of the box. So that's quite easy. We are fully Ethereum compatible and easy to deploy on top of Celo. The one unique feature that I'd like to call out is that in Celo, you're able to pay gas fees in multiple currencies. So that means that you don't have to store the native token. That makes it a lot more convenient for you to be able to transact. And then in addition to that, we've also implemented what is an ultralight client that allows for quick sync to the blockchain. Thereby making it a very strong component for emerging market use cases. And with that, I'll hand over to Allison, who is from the Climate Collective. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Allison. I'm from the Climate Collective. Thank you. We are an innovation network that supports the development of new innovative technologies for climate action at scale. So we have a membership association of 35 plus members who are all working to develop this kind of tech, most of it using blockchain, but sometimes also with AI, ML, etc. And yeah, they represent startups, scientists, nonprofits, and investors from all across the space. So how do we achieve this mission? Well, first of all, we want to support the development of innovation. So through our membership association and through funding pilots, we want to test out new use cases for how blockchain can be applied to scale climate action. That could be through carbon markets, that could be through blue economy, it could be through digital measurement, reporting, and verification that enhances the transparency and traceability of climate data, or it could be through helping to enhance global coordination efforts across multiple nations or disciplines. So once we help to support that innovation, we want to document it. We want to spread the word. So we participate in working groups, we produce white papers, research, and new use cases, and share that with the world through webinars, through events, conferences, because we want to help build trust in this tech and show what it can really enable in terms of a step change of climate action. And finally, once we help build more trust and awareness in this tech, we establish partnerships to help scale mass adoption. So looking to work with UN agencies, multilaterals, investment banks, and corporates, people who can really help take this tech to the next level. We were born out of the Celo ecosystem, as Jason said, but we do find it very important to work cross-chain. So we have members who represent the NEAR community, Polygon, Cosmos, lots of different ecosystems, because by working together through interoperability, we have a lot more to gain through collaboration than through direct competition. So if you have any questions, please come find me. And we have, yeah, this is a snapshot of some of our membership. You may recognize some of these brands up here: Toucan, Flow Carbon, Celo, Senken, all folks building on Celo in particular. So
Maybe you want to say a few words about some of them, just so that people have an understanding of the use case.
yeah. Who here, quick show of hands, recognizes one of these logos up here? Okay, so at least one, cool. So some of the groups we represent are tokenization infrastructure for bringing carbon credits on chain. Some of those are Toucan, Flow Carbon, Reseed. Once they're brought on chain, measuring and reporting the progress of those credits. We have Open Forest Protocol. Moss is beginning to do some of that now. Digital Gaia, working on the exchange of carbon credits on chain and different types of environmental credits. We have Celo and Senken, also Reseed as well. And yeah, beyond that, we have a lot of different ecosystem partners. So folks not working expressly in carbon. So Simplex DNA works with environmental DNA and biodiversity to track that on chain. Flory Ventures, Mercy Corps Ventures, and Allegory are all investors. It's important to be in touch with capital in the space and understand their perspective of the ecosystem. Yeah, and Plastics is also built on Celo. Just announced a very exciting partnership with FC Barcelona to help channel more capital into cleaning up plastic pollution through NFTs. So that's a bit about our membership, but yeah, any questions, come find me.
Yeah, I think it's quite amazing. Again, when we look back 5 years ago, we would never see a slide like this. 5 years ago, and someone say, "Oh yeah, there's a bunch of projects doing such cool work in that space." And so it's really good to see how the ecosystem has been developing over the years and the boom of projects that not only trying to apply blockchain for social and environmental good, but they reach maturity as well. They're commercial viable. They really help change the game in the market. So, and now talking about another key player in the space, some of you for sure know IOTA. I will call Christian on stage to tell a little bit more about the IOTA Foundation and some updates, and maybe from your perspective, how is the ecosystem looking like? Thank you.
Hi, I'm actually not really here to talk about IOTA itself and the foundation, what we've been cooking on the tech side, but actually more about how we're engaging with projects in our ecosystem, how we're supporting them. And we're not doing this through the IOTA brand specifically, but we're actually doing it through Touchpoint, which is our open builders program. I just want to share a little bit about how we approach that. Touchpoint was actually instituted in contrast to the industry adoption focus beforehand when we went into smart contracts and building kind of a smart contract solution on top of IOTA, with the realization that ecosystem building is kind of really different in that regard. That you have a permission ecosystem where projects can actually just come in, right? We don't really control who's building our tech. We can just try to make them as successful as possible and actually try to help them find what they need, right? And this is kind of where Touchpoint comes in. It's a collective of most of the founders and also the project teams and experts in the ecosystem. And also people are interested in joining the ecosystem, kind of interested to learn more about the technology, understanding who else is building and how they can contribute. And so what we're trying to do with Touchpoint is actually institute both a framework and then also a concrete program. So what I mean by that, we have Touchpoint as a framework, right? Which is the way for kind of the model that we use to engage with projects, which means we're trying to do it as lightweight as possible. You come in, you have the Touchpoint team, which is me and a couple of coworkers. And we just try to understand for everybody who's joining, kind of what's their goals, right? What's their objectives, what's their challenges. And then we're trying to match them with the support systems, with other builders in the space, right? That we can support them and help them overcome those challenges. Maybe discover different angles to technology, maybe work on projects together. So that's kind of the framework, right? We try to just foster exchange inside the system. And then we have really the program itself, which is us as team going in, really trying to facilitate, try. And we call it kind of a router of information, of capital, and knowledge, and of relationships. And the interesting thing is what we discovered kind of while we're doing this, right? Us being very close on the one hand to projects, but then also the projects having the liberty of not, having to deliver concrete things for us on a weekly basis, right? We're there for them if they need us. But other than that, we kind of try to let them run a little bit. But what it allows us to do is actually have a broad vision of what's going on in our system and then pick up on weak signals. So what does it mean, right? We maybe see increasing amount of projects being interested in carbon credits and putting them on chain. So, or we see people struggling with getting specific information because there's an oracle missing, or there's information missing that they have to bring on chain. Or they're struggling because capital is, everybody's trying to raise capital at one point. They're actually, trying to build relationships. So we can try to help there, but we pick up on weak signals. What we do with those weak signals is then we try to consolidate them, verify them by talking not to one project, but then actually trying to, reach out to other projects doing similar things, doing completely different things, trying to understand if that weak signal is actually just weak because we haven't heard about it before, but it's actually not really weak in the ecosystem, but everybody's thinking about these topics. And I think real-world assets, for example, is one of those things, right? Someone started talking about it at one point, but now many people are talking about it, and it's getting serious. So we just try to aggregate the signals and then turn them kind of into direction, right? By getting people in the room together, starting conversations between different projects, trying to actually complement expertise and adding skill sets. And then ultimately, what we're trying to do is then you have this direction, right? You know where you want to go. And then it's more about formalizing how people start working together. And I think in that way, it's really, we're trying to do this in a blockchain ecosystem, but I think it's very similar in how you work in tech space. It's just an aggregation of companies with shared goals. And all you have to do is actually put them through stuff. And then our role is really to step back and then only provide support when they need it. That's what we're essentially trying to do. So that's.
Thank you so much, Christian. And we're continuing with the next talks. If any of you, again, it's going a little bit fast, so I think we can keep on and maybe have more time afterwards. But if any of you wants to feels like asking a question right now, or there's something you don't understand, or there's a burning question you have in your mind, to any of the speakers, by the way. Good. All right. So let's continue. And in Berlin, if you're based in Berlin, you know that there's a lot of things happening in Berlin, in the world of startup and in the Web3 world. And who best than Jakob to tell us about what's happening in Berlin and what obviously the Berlin partners are doing, the cluster, and also sustainability services. So thank you, Jakob.
Hi there. It's nice to see you. Honestly, personally, to be here and to see this against the background of the crisis, I think there's some really good. Maybe some sentences to my person, not to my partner. I used to be a sustainability researcher for 4 years, and when I started this back in 2017, sustainability at all was not the big topic like it is today. Especially in the field of technology, it was not the topic today. So I'm really moved, and yeah, I'd like to thank you that you be here, that you are encouraged to be here, and also we try to foster the innovations that come to combine the needs of today, sustainability, with the means that we can already develop when it comes to technology, especially in the field of Web3 and blockchain. So now to my person, when it comes to Berlin Partner. Berlin Partner is the economic development agency of the city of Berlin. What we do is that we help companies to come to Berlin, and if you are as a company or also as another kind of organization, like NPO, we also help you to yeah, subscribe and own. And for that, we have all kinds of services that is the topic that I would like to talk about today. First of all, as an economic development agency, we try to cover the Berlin industries. So we are structured in 5 clusters. It's how we name it. So I'm, for example, I'm the yellow guy here, or the orange guy, cluster ICT, media, creative industries. It's close to that. And we have health capital. So health is also a big thing in Berlin. Energy, optics, photonics, and mobility, all this stuff. This is just to inform you, keep it in mind. So I'm more the community manager. So I try to connect blockchain guys, blockchain girls, but also I'm not dating. I also try to match blockchain techies with other techies like AI, fintech, and all stuff. And we also try to match developers to applicants from other industries. So if you have a project that goes into the area of mobility, reach out to us. We can maybe put you in contact with people. You would like to? What is ICT? ICT is, yeah, it's not that common in German. It's information and communication technology. It's really cool in German. I can use it. Okay, and I ask you to digital click. What I like to say, we are not broad when it comes to Berlin, when it comes to industries. We are also broad when it comes to networks. Berlin is a city of networks. So you can meet here a bunch of networks. When it comes to blockchain within, it's very diverse. We have on one of the earlier slides, a lot of like I don't know, when it comes to migrant founders, when it comes to blockchain and sustainability, but also blockchain and industry. So all kinds of communities when it comes to blockchain. But we can also go to AI guys here in Berlin. When I say guy, that was yeah, and this actually Berlin is a very important capital when it comes to AI in Germany, next to blockchain, for example. We are also important when it comes to Berlin to fintech. There's also the Berlin Finance Initiative. Maybe we can click one slide. Then it's the next one. Then we keep this in mind for and just this is no one. Oh, that one. Oh, no, this is perfect. Thanks a lot. And that's for the guys and this is just a short panorama of what's going on. Berlin is really diverse, also when it comes to blockchain community itself. They touch upon almost every topic that is able and out there in the world. So we have cases when it comes to fashion music, like the orange bubbles, media, trade industries. We have also use cases with energy, mobility, IoT logistics. You find everything here in Berlin. You can also check out the report there. You can also you can also put the slides on the any page you find on the internet. So you can check the links there. And in Berlin, this is actually an old number. We have at least 180 where we make sure companies here in Berlin, but a lot of networks on it and so on. Next one. Yeah, this is now we come back to the point that we had in mind. No, I just want to have discourse here on the fintech scene, because blockchain originated when it comes to fintech as a blockchain Bitcoin. And just to inform you that there is a movement here when it comes to fintech in Berlin. It's very special because there's no innovation in Frankfurt or less when it comes to fintech. All the big companies, the banks, they opened up here innovation spaces in Berlin. So you find a lot of fintech companies here. And we will also have next year a house finance and tech. So there will be a lot of new developments coming in, covering topics for crypto, DeFi. Okay, just a little bit advertisement. What I do actually, you can visit our blockchain made in Berlin campaign. This is where I showcase Berlin use cases. So also happy to reach out to me if you have any idea, a topic, a person you want to portray, then I can think of this. Yeah, put it also online. And I have also a newsletter here where I inform the community about events, funding programs that are going. So if you want to be on this list, just reach out to me today. So yeah, we have a lot of information, and in general, keeping in mind, I can be your connector to the community. I can be a promoter for your information. Just in any case, ask me something and I try to answer. So maybe now, what is Berlin partner does in general? Our services, these are our services. Now can you go on off stage? No. If you're looking for locations, we connect with them. If you're looking for partners for an R&D project, like universities, we can connect with them. We can connect you with people. If you're looking for funding programs, regional, EU-wide, connect with that as well. We have a special department for the EN, the European Enterprise Network, where we especially have to find your way and navigate with European Horizon programs, all this stuff. If you're looking for talent, talent is a big topic these days. We can also help you with that, blockchain, Web3, diverse, international. So maybe you get visa problems in Europe, so we can help you with that and come to Berlin and yeah, also help you to become international property. So we take you with us on fair trade terms. You can just apply for that at Berlin Partner. I can also give you information. And this is why I'm here also today. We have a brand new sustainability service since last year. So Berlin Partner is an economic development agency, also tries to innovate themselves. So and yeah, that's maybe one more. If we can read and I can just stand here. No. What we do is that we help you, or not you, you are already on your way, but a lot of companies aren't. So we help these companies to go on their way towards a sustainable transformation with their product services process. We try to help them to inform and strengthen their ESG performance and find financing opportunities for this very complex way to become sustainable actually. So we try to focus on the sustainability goals and the can do broad things. But yeah, we try to help to keep this compass to keep it to strive to expand this idea, this drivenness of the goals to bring to the companies. And what we do is that how can we help? So we maybe now in this next slide we have these three kind of columns. So on the one hand, we help you with sustainability management. This is more for the companies that are new to the field of sustainability. So we give at the very ground information about how actually establish the sustainability strategy. We can also inform about what could be training measures, all the stuff, and we support companies to actually identify potential partners to speak to when it comes to specific topics, and to identify actually the potentials within the companies. The second column is also, and this is where you guys come in, to identify actually the experts. I see already some experts here, and we try to network with them, and we try to connect these expert network with the companies. Actually, that's what we try to do, and we especially focus on three kind of topics: it's circular economy, it's climate protection, and sustainable supply chain. Yeah, and for example, if you're saying, okay, this is my topic actually, then also come to me and we have lists with a partner. That's us. It's a company is coming to us and say, okay, this is a different company. Then we are just the company in between. So we moderate, say, okay, go to these guys or to this woman, and they have good expertise. So if you want to go on this list, beyond this list, also reach out to me and can navigate the company's. And yeah, sustainability is not a single game. You have to do a team play here, and this also why fellow partners and network multiplier entity actually. So we have to connect to the network, try to strengthen the network, and also cooperate with all these companies to bring the idea of sustainability forward. last but not least, contact the code for unpossible and reach out to me. I'm happy to be here and thanks again for you that you are here.
Or
So,
should we?
yes. So we're gonna make it just a little break, so everyone resources beers, air, and we see you in 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, what should we do with the screen? I don't know. I have to speak now, apparently. Yeah. BerChain, one of the partners. They're like, we need to kill that. Let's talk about BerChain. Make the but I don't have it right now, so I'm like, yeah, we can do that.
My computer.
Okay, then. So, what's the problem? No, I'm saying no. We still like it. What no, we'll just mute and let it run. Oh, yeah, let's. Or even if the sound's going. Nah, let's mute. Okay. Let me check. There.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
You want to stay? So, since we're talking about clothing and blockchain, we obviously have to talk about blockchain. And for that, what a great transition.
Yeah.
And for that, we have Sandy, who is at the board of blockchain, who was at the board of Positive Blockchain, who's been super involved as well with us and in the community in Berlin. Maybe you can share a bit about blockchain and what you guys are doing here.
Yeah.
Some next events as well. There will be quite a lot this year. And then we continue. We'll have two more talks. Pizza will be arriving around 8:30, so stay tuned. And then we have good time all together. Thank you so much. And please, Sandeep.
Thank you, guys. So I'm going to make a conscious effort to stand here so that the audio is captured, which is also an indication for the next speakers. So yeah, it's BerChain, it's not BerChain, it's not BerChain, it's BerChain, okay? So BerChain started as a website, a Slack community, and in 2019, if I'm not wrong, we officially became a non-profit, or in German, eingetragener Verein. I'm getting there, yeah. So yeah, the whole idea with BerChain was to bring the blockchain community in Berlin together. We are a member-led not-for-profit organization. So we have around 20, 30 members ranging from startups, medium-scale enterprises, and corporates. And our vision is simple. We are here to bring the community together, connect the community, and uh, basically promote the Berlin blockchain ecosystem. We have done quite some events in the last 4 years. We do a lot of networking events. We do a lot of education events, webinars, and we started off as a community with, I don't know, like 30, 40 people. And right now we have a Slack community with over 1,200 people. We also have one full-time employee who is working with us, who is here as our association manager. So if you guys want to know more about BerChain, come talk to me or come talk to Santiago. Like I said, right, we do a lot of events. We also represent Berlin blockchain ecosystem across Europe. We also work with we worked on a lot of research papers, reports, and we have a database of all the Berlin blockchain companies. Of course, it's not full because the Berlin blockchain ecosystem has been growing. So the number Jacob quoted earlier was 180, and I think there's more than that. But yeah, uh, and I've been in this space for over 5 years. Like started off in venture capital, and then tried to stay in the place. And I was just telling earlier, like when I was listening to Lisk, Celo, IOTA, I was like, I know all these guys when they started off. Like I remember hearing the first stories of the founders when they were presenting their projects. So it's been a great situation, or like seen how Berlin blockchain ecosystem has transformed. We had really amazing projects coming in. And speaking about events, we are relaunching one of our events, which is called Block Beers, where we usually bring the community together. We have some really interesting success cases. One I want to point out is there's a startup in Berlin called Pecuna, which does with helps with taxation. And Pecuna was one of our early members, and the founder found his co-founder at one of our block beer events. So maybe you guys can find your next founder there, or maybe investors. I don't know. Yeah.
It's next week on the 8th.
Yes. Yes, it's on the 8th. You can find it on our website. We also have a list of all the events that are happening across Berlin. We try to actively push it. And one last point I want to mention is we also work with a EU project called Chase, where it's about the curriculum. I think IOTA is one of the partners members there, where it's a research project across EU. Stakeholders are working towards building a curriculum that's important for the blockchain education, etc. Yeah, so that's about me. And of course, I've been a supporter of Positive Blockchain since their inception So 5-year anniversary. I'm glad to be here. Great. Thank you, guys. Let's stand on this slide.
Thank you, Sandeep, and I like the way you do my transitions now because you talked about the EU and the European ecosystem, and a lot of you may have heard about the EU Blockchain Observatory and Forum. And we have a great speaker with us that is a panel expert member at the EU Blockchain Observatory and Forum, Dr. Luisa Sidler, who is also partner at Merlin. Maybe you can say a few words about yourself, maybe from the governance perspective, and what has been your work at the observatory. Thank you so much.
I didn't bring my own slides. That's why I needed to mark them a little bit. Otherwise, I would have needed to read it. You can just jump forward. The blockchain of the EU Blockchain Observatory Forum was formed 2018 by the European Commission. They felt that they need to get a better oversight of what is happening in that space. They were urged by multiple players to think about regulation, to think about how to support this technology in any way. And so they thought, okay, we need an observatory where we get an overview. And we need to provide the people with a forum where they can actually meet and work together. So that was 2018, and they created expert panels, one of which I was right from the outset. And then the next step was actually end of 2018 when they called for forming a European-based blockchain association, which became INATBA, the International Association for Trusted Blockchain Application, where I had the honor to serve on the founding board for the first 2 years. And then I handed over to the next generation. I see. The goal was to come up with a number of reports giving some guidance to basically the European politicians to create some ideas, what is happening in that space. You can find on the website a huge list of reports that they created. And then they also created a map where every blockchain project could file for being listed. So you can actually click on a lot of initiatives and projects on that map. So coming to the slides. European Blockchain Observatory and Forum is really dedicated to promote this technology for the use for sustainability goals and supports various initiatives. It's good that we have a European, say, institution recognizing that blockchain has a huge potential in contributing to the attainment of the SDGs. And actually, personally, being a lawyer and working on projects trying to achieve this with this technology, I think this is a perfect use case because it is typically, if it's a trace and track application, we can get those projects most of the time outside of the financial regulation, which is really getting a steep hurdle for projects. So as soon as you have some tokens involved, which represent financial instruments, it's not that fun anymore. And that has been in Germany since 2020 already. And it will now also be introduced with the MiCA, the Market in Crypto Asset Regulation, on a European basis. So I see those projects, basically provenance projects, that will be something that you can still hopefully realize without having obtained a financial regulatory license for that business model. So I really think that's a good point here. So it's the European Blockchain Observatory and Forum has a lot of collaboration between industry, academia, and policymakers. I can confirm that. They do regular events where they invite, from all three stakeholder groups, representatives to move things forward. It supports research and innovation and facilitates knowledge exchange and collaboration. So I think we heard that before. And if you ask for my personal opinion, I think we should maybe get all these institutions to work closer together, because we have so many associations and so many institutes basically striving for the same goal. And a bit of a problem in the blockchain space is, our tribal culture. We have so many tribes, which, like to remain within that tribe. So I can only, invite everybody to come together and put your efforts together. Okay, next one. So this basically gives a bit more of information, which I leave with you, and then let's jump to the contact information for the European Blockchain Observatory info. And by the way, I'm not really sure how I got onto that expert panel, but I think you can apply. So if you're interested, the term has just been prolonged, I think, until the end of the year. Tanya?
I think it's closed, it's fine. So now the contract with the European Union for the European Blockchain Observatory that is within the Costa University is prolonged.
Yeah.
But they closed the expert panel. So now
Okay.
You cannot apply, they invite you.
Okay, all right. So they changed it. Sorry for that. I was not up to speed here. Okay, good. And then I just thought I dare to bring one slide for myself, which I think is really important. It really goes to my heart. And that is the topic of off-chain governance. Obviously, I'm not a techie, I'm a lawyer, so that's my topic. And I think it is really important that all of these great projects out there trying to, invent some tools by which we can track and trace all the sustainability goals and actually make them happen, also think about the off-chain governance. And having that in mind, don't overpromise. If you're not really truly decentralized yet, don't claim to be. Be transparent about this really difficult topic. It's not easy to solve. And also, I think it's important to keep in mind, if you're not truly decentralized, then all the claims that you provide for a tool which does not need trust anymore isn't that true either. So I think that is also an area where we in the blockchain space can do better. We are very good at marketing, right? And I didn't hear anybody claiming that, his or her tool is democratizing anything. I'm very happy about that, right? Because we're not democratizing anything in this space. We are plutocratizing typically. Once we have reliable digital identities, we can start democratizing things. But until that, it's rather plutocracy. All right. So try to make your minds up how you actually do the soft governance in addition to what you have coded, because there is some risk out there that you end up creating something that you never wanted to create, which I call default entity, and every grown-up jurisdiction knows that type of thing, and it typically comes with unlimited liability for everybody playing in that area. So you don't want to have that. So make up your mind, be transparent, take a decision. Doesn't mean that these entities or partnerships need to control the network. Not at all, right? But try to facilitate a proper decision making outside the code where needed. All right, that was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for these great thoughts. And last but not least, is it last? And it's not least. Mariana, please. Mariana, you also have several hats, so maybe you may have your hats and and the topic that you're presenting tonight about the BC 100 plus. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here on a Friday sunny afternoon in Berlin. So very open for us.
I love when you started talking about like tribes because I actually represent the opposite, and as Lucas said, I have like a lot of hats. I'm part of the regulatory first team of IOTA Foundation, which by the way, we have a lot of t-shirts. They are free, you can take them. I'm also part of the new board of INATBA, where I also lead the Social Impact and Sustainability Working Group, which I have been doing that for the past 3 years, I think. And I'm also part of the EUBOF, part of the expert panel, and I'm also one of the representatives of the UPBC. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have done with INATCO, and I'm going to talk about one particular initiative that we have with some of the people that is here. Actually, it's what brought us together. I didn't introduce myself. I'm actually from Colombia. I'm really happy to see so many Latin American people here. This actually proves that Berlin is really multicultural and I love it. I'm also a lawyer, so I'm gonna actually like go back to certain points that Nina did that I think that are really key for the ecosystem in general. Um, okay, so the first thing I'm gonna present is a little bit about INATBA, because I think that like this is the first time that some of you might hear about it. But basically, what INATBA does is the same that I do for all of these different organizations that I mentioned, and is building bridges. So INATBA is a global forum when we have representative for like different institutions. We have governmental agencies, we have academia, we have tons of universities as part of our academic advisory board, and we have industry players, we have projects, we have layer ones, layer two, we have everyone. And we focus on 6 main topics, are the topics that you see here, which are the topics that we identify are pain points for the blockchain global adoption. We also have the governmental advisory board, where different governmental agencies can join us and help us to identify what are the regional priorities for them. And we also have the academic advisory board that is key because we need actually data and science behind what we are doing, and especially the papers that we are writing. So everything that we say is based actually on research. Um, as I mentioned, I've been leading the social impact and sustainability working group for the past 3 years. And these are some of the things that I'm gonna quickly run through because I think they're really important. There are tools that we created that are for free. It might help some of the things that you're doing in the sustainability space. So the first thing we did is that in 2021, we ran a survey with over 69 projects and we're blockchain projects working on the sustainability space. And we were trying to identify what were the challenges that we're facing, where deploying the projects or trying to scale. And what it came out of this was a report also in our website for everyone to download. And it was really interesting because there were like there were like, of course, like challenges that we know are in the blockchain space, not only in the sustainability, like the um, the scalability of the projects in terms of like access to finance or access to VCs or education outside of the blockchain space. But there were 2 that we identified and we were like really key in like we need to work on these ones and are the ones that I'm going to present a little bit more. The first one was that there was a really completely different understanding in each project about what social impact was. And what we did with, together with the Academic Advisory Board was a review of the different social impact definitions that are out there. And we came with one for the blockchain ecosystem. And it's really important, and it's a little bit different to what was in the literature. It's because we added the unintentional part. Most of the literature that we found considered that in order to create social impact, you needed to have that as an objective. But what we have seen is that there is a lot of blockchain projects that are creating impact, even though this was not the key objective. So for us, it was really important to add the an intentionality part into the definition. And what we are doing right now is actually advocating for the projects to use this definition. So when we talk about social impact in the space, we all know what we are talking. And this is really important for the second part of what we did, and is to actually approach investors that might not be focusing on the blockchain space, but can be impact investors or angel investors that are more concentrated in the impact side of things. So once we start to speak the same language and we know how to define social impact, there was another challenge there, and is that these projects didn't know how to showcase the impact that they were creating.
And this is actually, I come from the development sector. I was working actually with NGOs in child protection and justice before coming into the blockchain space. So for me, some of the things were really intuitive, like you need to create a baseline, you need to talk to stakeholders, do a stakeholder mapping. All of these are really intuitive for those that have been working on the sustainability space. But if you talk to developers, this not even crossed their mind. So when they needed to actually prove that they were creating impact, they were like, yeah, we did it. I look at it. And it's like, look at the what? They didn't have any indicators. They didn't have any research about like the situation, how it was before, how it was after. And also understanding this, even is intuitive, is not really that easy because there is models out there, but they have paywall. Or you need to have like certain knowledge to actually apply those models into your operations. So basically what we did was a really thorough research on different models that were out there. And then we created some questions like, is this model talking about SDGs? Is this model talking about, is this one like something easy to apply for people that has no experience? And then we actually start to take out all the steps that were in these models, and then we started to unify them, which basically was going step by step, understanding what you needed to do with that step, and then consolidated it in one easy step for everyone, regardless of the knowledge that they have, can apply this when they want to do social impact. And it has been really, really good. We have been trying to advocate for like the application of this. Right now, we are in conversation with BerChain, which is part of our governmental advisory board, for them to use this with the projects that are out there that they have in Latin America. Here you just see basically the different areas that a project needs to go through, so the project life cycle and the different topics that they need to consider and the micro steps that they need to consider in those topics. If you go to the report, each of those dots that you see in this document has an actual super easy description of what they need to do. For example, to create a baseline, or for example, to create a stakeholders analysis. And all of this helps the projects to actually approach investors that might be outside of the Web3 space, but might be interested in see how this technology can actually achieve impact at the end. We do advocacy, and as you see, there's a lot of events out there. So like events like this one, but I also participated in the different COPs or in the Nine Environment for Europe Ministerial Conference, which is also events that are not so related to blockchain because we need to actually expand the bubble. Like if we want to escape, we can only grow as much as our own bubble. So we actually like, need to talk to those outside of the blockchain ecosystem to actually convince them or start working with them for them to apply the technology if we want to actually scale at the global level. So advocacy and participation in events is something that we do a lot. And then it comes what I was actually today I'm going to present to you, that is the BC100 Plus. So the BC100 Plus is an initiative that we have with different stakeholders. PD is one of the steering committee members, the EUBOF as well, GBBC, INATBA, IOTA, and some others. EPE is a think tank that actually was the one that brought this initiative to us. And we actually are trying to bridge Web 2 and Web 3, but we do it with a specific purpose, which is the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals and the UN Charter values. This initiative has the current patronage, the patronage of the current president of the General Assembly, which also like help us to open a lot of doors when we approach partners. And so yeah, so we are doing three things mainly. One is the manifesto. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Community building events like this one with support of Lucas and the PV team as well, and advocacy and education and awareness raise of the potential of blockchain for sustainability. Now, we also have a group of advisors that are helping us with certain reports. It's the members of the steering group that I mentioned. These are the organizations driving the BC100 Plus. We all also do this on voluntary basis. I don't know how you guys do your job and PB and this on top of that. That's a lot of commitment, so applause to that. But this is actually organizations that are really passionate about social impact and sustainability and that actually believe in the power of blockchain to push this forward in a faster manner. As I mentioned, we have like different objectives. So we are exploring how to create bridges between Web3 and Web2. We also advocate for the power of blockchain, and we do this in different ways, which I'm going to present now. So this is a little bit of overview of what has happened so far. Like, I'm really proud about this because we started this like less than a year ago, and we already have a vision. We already consolidated a manifesto, which represents what all of these organizations that are really, really different from one to another, and we operate in different regions. We have the people in the African continent, in Latin America, here in Europe, we have someone in Asia. So it's really difficult to actually like create a united vision for all of us, and we actually managed to put that together in less than a year. We also participate in a lot of events, and we are about to launch the website with the manifesto and start to work and actually get the community building part. So this is the manifesto. I don't expect you to read. You can take a picture. But as I said, it's going to be launched soon, so you can actually go there and read like our common vision, and you can actually sign to this, which is my next slide. So what is going to happen once you sign the manifesto? So you go to the website, you read the manifesto. If you agree with us, you don't need to agree. Like, everyone is entitled to their opinion. You don't need to sign. This is voluntary. So once you sign into the BC 100 plus community and you agree with our manifesto, then it's going to be a review of the applications, because we are invited not only blockchain projects, but we are also inviting UN agencies and NGOs and institutions outside of the blockchain space, and we want to offer a pool of like quality blockchain projects. So the first thing that we are going to do is actually we are going to curate the projects that are applied, and we do that through PV. Because they have all the knowledge, they have the database, and they are the experts actually. They know how to do this, so who better than them to do it? So if you want to apply, I would recommend you first to sign with PV and start like the process on the database, because this will facilitate the whole process. Once we approve the projects, we are creating a Slack where it's not only for the blockchain projects, but we will also have UN agencies. And we have already like a list of UN agencies that are actually deploying blockchain projects or have a blockchain kind of like research institution inside of the UN agency and are interested in like doing more on blockchain, or actually organizations that have never like, or UN agencies that have never heard the word blockchain, but are curious to see what they can do with this. And the idea is to facilitate the dialogue without like letting people like me building the bridge for them, but that they can actually approach them directly. So we also are like going with the core of blockchain and like trying to get rid of the intermediaries. In this case, my job. But the idea is that they can talk to each other, invite each other for events. If there is, for example, I got approached like not so long ago by a project, a big non-profit organization. I don't know if I can say the name, so I'm just gonna keep it for me. And they wanted to do NFTs to actually collect donations for what was happening in Ukraine. We actually did a similar project like that with IOTA and the Sunaverse, one of our community members. And they came to me to ask me which platform to approach. But at the end, I will recommend the projects that I know. If they have this pool of projects, they can actually make the call themselves, and they can pick the one that they want to work directly. We are also going to promote a lot of events, such as this one, for people interested in sustainability so that they get to know the community. And last but not least, we are going to do research and reports, and we are always open to collaboration. So if you are interested on the topic, you want to write a report, there is like a particular area that you want to work, you can always contact us. I'm gonna run really fast because I don't have so many. Oh, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maciej. I'm also part of Positiveblockchain. Been with these guys for 5 years. Yeah, the story about me, actually, I ended up looking for events in Berlin where people like me who are not techies would actually understand something about this amazing technology and the potential that it has. In Berlin at the time, there were about 3 to 4 meetups a day happening. All of them tech bros speaking tech language, free beers, a lot of money, very not accessible. So yeah, I was just brainstorming with a friend what to do, and he connected me to Positiveblockchain. Together we came up with blockchain for social good Berlin meetups, which kind of skyrocketed at some point. And we partnered with Impact Hub and GIZ, KZ Blockchain Lab to do this, and we paused because of Corona, but we then moved to online space, and we this year resumed the events, and we are doing them monthly. Yesterday was another event that we did, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of close with a few points. First of all, big thanks to a lot of contributors who are not here. So I don't know if that was already said, but all of what we've done in 5 years as part of the Positive Blockchain, which many public institutions, including EU Blockchain Observatory Forum and many other institutions, were actually using, and we were very happy that it was working. We've been all doing that completely pro bono and on a voluntary basis. And I must say that this is a really great community, and I actually haven't learned as much at any other job and any other organization in terms of professionalism and commitment as I did from all my colleagues. So there are a lot of them that are not here. Over 5 years, we had over 60 contributors that joined us. I think in a lot of countries. I can't name all of them. Big thanks to all of them. And yeah, we have a Telegram group, and you can scan this QR code, we'll leave it, see network. And one other thing that was already mentioned by Lucas, since we launched our new database and revamped our website, there's a lot of opportunities that kind of come with that, not only API, but actually some kind of tagging opportunities, which are actually really opening a lot of opportunities for ecosystem building and building bridges. So I myself have worked over the past several years in humanitarian development aid projects, blockchain projects, implemented a lot of pilots and worked on many research projects. And what I can say from my perspective in that space, and that is true for many others, there's not enough of convergence and of ideas, and organizations are doing a lot of similar jobs and kind of repeating the same things. And what is really needed is exactly what we've been doing and what all my colleagues here are talking about. So building the ecosystem and making sure that we are kind of advancing and not kind of advancing and using the knowledge that is already out there and the experience that has been already gained, rather than just kind of repeating the same mistakes. So this is what our database now will enable, that you can kind of create a partnership with us and create, I don't know, climate positive blockchain projects in Latin America, or ECOTA that was already presented is also like the partnership focused on carbon markets, and those kind of projects can be kind of easily gathered in one place, filtered. So this is like, sounds very boring, but it's actually a very big step for this ecosystem. And yeah, on that note, I thank you very much for joining us and celebrating with us 5 years. And yeah, now we will have beers. You're invited to get as many. We have a lot. And we'll have pizza. And yeah, enjoy.
Lucas, all the contributors a picture. Whoever's here, contributors on stage, can take a picture. Yeah.
Should we call?
Yeah.
And I'm calling contributors All PB contributors to come on stage, please. Who is there?
We need a new picture.
Stacy, please come as well. Yes.
Yes.
We're just gonna make a photo, guys. The music is gonna start. Pizza will come in about 15 minutes, and we have another batch at 9 p.m. So it should be enough for everybody. We do PB and then we do everyone.
Okay, we need to.
Who is taking your photo?
Who's taking the picture? That's a good picture. Thank you. No.